So the career starts, and how did it escalate to the point where you're making more money in the day than 20 people make in a lifetime?
It started off slow, man. I still don't know what I'm doing, you know.
Yeah.
I'm peddling around. Martin the pimp, who told me it was cocaine, he wound up beating me out of the piece I had. But the good thing is that he came back later on that day and he had somebody with him, which was Big Mouse. Big Mouse had $100, so he wanted to spend 100. So even though I had lost technically what Mike had gave me, because I gave it to Martin, well, Martin smoked it on credit. I didn't give it to him. He smoked it on credit, but he bought somebody back that was gonna spend $100. So I called Mike and told him, man, I got somebody over here that want to spend $100. That other piece you gave me, my dude gonna pay us Friday. See, I didn't even know about the loan game, man. I had never loaned nothing in my life, you know. I ain't never had nothing to loan, so I couldn't have loaned it. But that was my first lesson in the loan game. And I never thought about that until today, you know, sitting here talking to you. That was the first time I ever loaned anything, other than probably my brothers loaning them a pair of my pants, you know, because we used to flip-flop pants and shoes around the house, you know, so we didn't wear the same thing every day. So
at that point, was it chopped up into crack, or was it still just cocaine?
It was still cocaine. They was cooking it, though. They were already cooking it. They were ether basing, and a few people were putting baking soda on it already, too. At that time, they were still trying to decide, was ether better than baking soda? You know, it's like, baking soda, ether. No, baking soda. I can cook it better with ether. I can cook it better with baking soda. So it was going through that little transition where baking soda was starting to take the market away from ether.
So I saw you post something like crack cocaine came from UCLA.
We saw that somewhere on the study where they were talking about it.
So when you were introduced to it, crack was already
on the streets. It was
already on the streets.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't invent crack.
Yeah.
Everybody would say I invented crack. I didn't invent crack. No. What I probably did was made it really attractive.
Uh-huh.
You know, when you put it beside this face here. Yeah, no, I probably made it attractive, you know, to the younger generation. Because when I first started, all the guys were older than I was. And what I did was turn all my young homies on, you know, so they were younger than me. And once people started to see us with all the toys and the gadgets, you know, they wanted a piece of it.
Mm-hmm. And kind of explain how you got to the point with this big connection, making all this money, you know. Was that in your game plan? Did you say,
nah,
you know, Rick, I'm gonna be the biggest, and you know?
Well, you know what? I said that a few times, you know, to my brothers. I would be in the garage, you know, and I felt like, you know, talking shit and bragging, and I would be like, man, I could take over this cocaine business. And at that time, I think I might have been buying $300 worth of coke. So. My game plan was to get in, and $5,000. I probably would have felt like I took over. I wanted to get in, make $5,000, and get out. You know, that was my plan. But it's funny about the drug business. You know, like when you get 5,000, it gets easier to make 500, and when you get 10,000, it gets easier to make 1,000, and when you get 50,000, it's easy to make 10,000. And because what I found out is I started to make my money work for me, you know, and not just myself working. So my business just started to pick up gradually. You know, it wasn't like I started and 3 weeks later I'm moving, you know, $1 million worth of dope. No, that didn't happen. My business started off really slow. First week, maybe $20, $30 sometimes. But I stayed down. You know, I started to understand the concept of staying down, you know, not taking your money and go buy a car or some new clothes, but to keep recycling your money back into the drugs. As soon as I got money, I would go trade the money for drugs. As soon as I got drugs, I'd trade it for money. And really, I was just the middle guy who took a percentage out of all these different deals.
So what's the most amount of money you made in one day?
3.2 million, maybe a little more. Yeah, maybe a few thousand more.
What does 3.2 million look like?
Well, you got to realize in drug money, it's mostly 20s. 20s would be the most bill. And then next would probably be 10s, and then 50s, and then 5s, and then 100s would be next. So you're talking about a nice pile of money. 10,000 and 10s would probably be about like that. And I ain't held them in a long time. You know what I'm saying? 10,000 and 10s and 5s might have been like this here. So it's a pretty big pile. I would say, I'd have money standing about this high off the ground and probably about that wide. And that's how I would get my prices. I would pile my money up in the living room, and then I would just call the suppliers over to let them see the money, and they would come by and they'd be like looking at it like, how much is it?
Wow. Like, I mean, that much money, did you ever say like one day, like, all right, today's it. I got 20 million in the backyard. Like, you can have this, take it over. And
I mean, what happens in the drug business is as a dealer, you become addicted too, and you start to enjoy it. I mean, just everything about it just gets exciting, like when you go pick up 100 kilos and you got 4 cars and y'all ducking through traffic and you looking for the helicopter and you checking for cops and your adrenaline is like racing like, I can't lose this one.
Yeah.
I got to get this one to the stash spot.
Yeah.
So it all of that, and even though the adrenaline is a negative adrenaline, but you enjoy it. You feed off of it. You feel like when you pull up into that driveway where the stash spot is, you like, I beat him again. I did it again. Probably would be almost equivalent to a guy that's taking a jump shot at the end of the game,
Yeah.
The game is on the line, and he gets the ball in his hand. His heart is probably bumping fast. He's nervous, like, I got to make this shot. Probably the same type of feeling.
Yeah.
I ain't never been in a position where I get to take that shot. Yeah, I guess I have. That's how I got locked up again. I was taking that shot.
Yeah.